Hey, what is up, you guys? Tutor Jane here, and today I'm going to make a super quick video on factorizing algebraic expressions. Now, this is going to be an introduction to factorizing, so I'm not going to cover everything there is to know about the topic, but I hope it's useful. So let's crack on. So if I sound too slow, this is my normal talking speed. Please feel free to watch this on 1.5 times speed or something like that. Okay, let's crack on. Okay, so what does it mean to factorize? So you might get given a question like 4x plus 2 and be asked to factorize it. And to factorize this, what we're going to do is take a look at every single component of our expression. So in this case, we've got two elements. We've got a 4x and we've got a 2. And then we're going to see what all the elements have in common that we can take out of each element. So by that I mean, what can we divide everything in the expression by? Um, Now we can look at the 4x and we can see that we can divide the 4x by 2, right? So we can take a 2 out of this 4x. We can also take a 2 out of our 2, right? And we'll be left with 2 times 1. If we take the 2 out of the 4x, we'll be left with 2 times 2x. So then we can see that both 4x and 2 have a 2 in common. So then we're going to take this 2 outside, and then we're going to open some brackets, and we're going to put what gets left behind once the 2 is taken out. So in this case, we've got a 2x left and a 1, and we're going to put that inside the brackets. And this is our factorized form of this expression, right? If we expand the brackets, so to expand the brackets, we just have to multiply everything inside by everything outside. So in this case, we would do 2 times 2x, which would be 4x. And then we do 2 times plus 1, which would be plus 2. When we expand these brackets, we get back the original equation that we had. So in its simplest form, that is what factorization is. We just look at everything our expression has. We look at all the individual terms and we take out what everything has in common. And they all have to have the same thing for that thing to be taken out. So in this case, we can divide the whole expression by 2 and we take that 2 outside the brackets. And what we have left when we divide everything by 2 goes inside the brackets. So that is, in its simplest sense, what factorization is. So we can practice that with some more questions. So let's say we had 5 minus 25x. So if we were asked to factorize this expression, we're going to follow the rules. We're going to look at everything in our expressions. In this case, we've got a 5 and we've got a minus 25x. Now, what do these things have in common? Well, the 5 is divisible by 5, right? If we take out the 5, we'll be left with 1. So 5 times 1 is 5. And in this case, the 25x is also divisible by 5. So it'll be what, 5 times 5x, right? It's actually a minus 5x because of the minus sign here, but I'll put it in later. So both parts of this expression are both divisible by 5. So we're going to take the 5 out and we're going to open our brackets, and then we're going to put inside our brackets what's left behind. So we have a 1 here and we have a 5x, but remember, this minus sign gets carried over as well, so it's 1 minus 5x. And as an idiot's check, we can expand the brackets again to double check that we get back our original expression. So to expand the brackets, we open everything up and we multiply everything on the inside by what's on the outside. So we do 5 times 1, right, which is 5. And then we do 5 times minus 5x, which is minus 25x. And lo and behold, we get back the exact same expression that we had before. Cool, perfect. Let's do another example. Let's say we had x squared plus 2x. Yeah. Yeah, so let's do x squared plus 2x. So factorize this expression. So we're going to follow the rules, right? We're going to look at everything in our expression. So we have an x squared and we have a 2x. And we're going to see what both of these terms have in common. So the x squared is actually x times x, right? That's how we get x squared. And the 2x is 2 times x. So we can see that both of these have an x in common. So then we can take the x out, and then what do we have left? we have an x here, and here we have a 2, and it's a +2 because there's a plus sign here, right? So the factorized form of this expression is x into x plus 2. We can open the brackets and see what we get. So x times x is x squared, and x times 2 is plus 2x. Cool, perfect. Okay, let's do one more question. I'll make this a bit harder. Let's say you had 6x to the power of 4 minus 3x squared y. Okay, so this looks a bit more complicated than the earlier questions, but we can still factorize it in the same way. So how are we going to factorize this? We're going to follow the rules. We're going to look at every term in our expression. So in this case, we have a 6x to the power of 4, and we have a 3x squared times by y, 3x squared y. So we have these two terms. Now, what do they have in common? Well, I can immediately see that I've got a 6 here and I've got a 3 here, right? So this 6 part of the 6x to the power of 4 is actually 2 times 3 times x to the power of 4. And this 3 is actually 3 times 1, right? So looking at the numbers alone, I can see that they both have a 3 in common. So I'm going to take that out, right? Take the 3 out. Cool. The numbers are now dealt with. And we're going to have a 2 and a 1 left inside the brackets. Now let me look at the letters. So let's look at the x. So here we've got an x to the power of 4 and we've got an x to the power of 2. Now, a quick lesson on powers and indices. I'll do it up here in case you don't know. But if we had something like x squared times x squared, so when we multiply two indices that have the same base, so in this case, by base, I mean the main number at the bottom. So in this case, our base is x, right? Now, both of these terms have the same base. And when we multiply two indices that have the same base, we take the indices and we add them together. So x squared times x squared is going to be x to the power of 4. If we had a to the 4 times a squared, this will be a to the power of 6, right? We have the same base. If we had a squared times b squared, this would just be a squared, b squared, because a and b are different bases. And so we can't do anything with the powers. We can't add them together in that sense. Yeah. Okay, cool. Quick lesson on indices. So in this case, we've got an x to the power of 4 on the left, and we have an x squared here. So what we can do is actually we can take out an x squared, right? Because x to the power of 4 is just x squared times x squared. So x to the power of 4 is x squared times x squared, and x squared is 1 times x squared, right? So we have an x squared in common, so we're going to take that out as well. Cool, and there's nothing left on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, we have this y. Now, there isn't a y over here, right? So we can't take the y out, so the y is going to stay in the brackets. So we're going to leave the y behind, put it down here. So what have we taken out? We've taken out a 3, right? We've taken out, let me do this in red. We've taken out a 3, right? We've taken out an x squared, cool. And that's all we've taken out. So now we're going to open the brackets and put in what's left. So here we've got a 2. So that's going to go on this side, and we have an x squared that's left behind as well, 2x squared. There is a minus sign, so I'm going to put that in. And on the right-hand side, we've got a 1. Cool. Another 1. Cool. 1 times 1 is 1. And we've got a y. So the y is going to come down here. Yeah. And the 1s are also here, but 1 times anything is itself. So 1 times 1 times y is y. And this is the factorized form of our expression. And we can do our idiot's check and double check that this is correct by expanding the brackets. So let's take our 3x squared and multiply it by our 2x squared. So then we're going to do 3 times 2 is 6. X squared times x squared is going to be x to the power of 4. right, as we did up here. Um, Now let's do 3x squared times minus y. That's going to be minus 3x squared y. And as before, we've gotten our original expression. Anyway, that is all for this video. This is how we factorize simple algebraic expressions. I hope you found this video useful and helpful. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button and please do subscribe if you haven't already. Now, this is, as I said, how we factorize simple algebraic expressions. There are a couple of other factorization methods that you need to know, all to do with factorizing quadratics, which are of the form ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, I have made a video going through one of these ways of factorizing quadratics, which I'll link up above here. So please do check that out if you're interested. Otherwise, here are some practice questions that I've just drawn up for you. If you want to give these a go, leave me the answers in the comments and I'll tell you if you're right or wrong. Otherwise, if there are any other GCSE maths topics that you want me to cover, please do let me know and I will try my best to cover them. That is all for this video. I will see you guys next time. Bye for now.